Rhaegar Targaryen's friend, Jon Connington, was Aerys II's hand during Robert's rebellion. But Jon Connington failed to capture and or kill Robert Baratheon at Stony Sept, so Aerys fired Jon Connington and exiled him. After Rhaegar was allegedly killed by Robert at the Trident, Aerys sent his pregnant wife Rhaella and their second son Viserys to Dragonstone with the Red Keep's Master-at-Arms, Sir Willem Darry. Rhaella then gave birth to Daenerys during a storm, ergo the nickname Daenerys Stormborn. But Aerys kept his daughter-in-law, Princess Elia Martell, and her two children, Rhaenys and Aegon, with him in King's Landing. They were hostages. By keeping them close, Aerys was able to prevent Dorne from turning against him. Nonetheless, Aerys' side lost the war. So Amrei Lorch brutally killed Princess Rhaenys and the Mountain killed Prince Aegon, then raped Elia and killed her too. Or at least, that's what most of the characters believe. And that's what we were told until A Dance with Dragons. In Book 5, George R. R. Martin introduced the characters Griff and young Griff. Tyrion eventually deduced that Griff was Rhaegar Targaryen's friend, Jon Connington, and young Griff told Tyrion that he was Rhaegar's son, Aegon Targaryen. Young Griff told Tyrion that Varys had bought a tanner's son and switched that baby with himself, but is all of that true? Probably not. We know from his thoughts that Jon Connington believes the young Griff is Rhaegar's trueborn son, Aegon. And Septa Lemore and young Griff himself both appear to believe that as well. But that doesn't mean that young Griff actually is Aegon. It's possible that they were all tricked by Varys and Illyrio Mopatis. However, in the A Dance with Dragons epilogue, Varys shot Kevan Lannister with a crossbow. As Kevan was dying, Varys told Kevan that Aegon was going to raise his banner at Storm's End, and Kevan responded that Aegon is dead. But Varys said, no, Aegon is here. Since Varys was speaking to Kevan Lannister as he was dying, Varys had no reason to lie. That suggests that young Griff is in fact Rhaegar's son Aegon. So I'm going to skip over the pros and cons to young Griff being some sort of Blackfyre, although admittedly, it would be cool if he was a Matryoshka doll of secret identity upon secret identity inception. But he's not. Unless George R. R. Martin was using a cheap trick with Varys' statement, then young Griff is Rhaegar's first son, Aegon. But there is still one outstanding mystery which has implications for the story going forward, and Tyrion has already wondered as much. Tyrion figured out who Griff and young Griff were, but he wondered, who was Lemore? Who was she really? And why was she there? What was this prince to her? Septa Lemore traveled around with young Griff and tutored him in the faith of the Seven. Tyrion believed that Septa Lemore was past 40, more handsome than pretty, but still easy on the eye. She has dark brown hair and stretch marks on her belly that Tyrion believed to have come from childbirth. Because of her age, her beauty, and her dark hair, many fans believe that Septa Lemore is Ashara Dayne. The one thing that's missing though is that Tyrion never made note of Septa Lemore's eyes. And according to both Lady Catelyn and Barristan Selmy, Ashara Dayne had haunting purple eyes. Eyes similar to Daenerys Stormborn's eyes. So if Septa Lemore is Ashara Dayne, it's strange that Tyrion never made note of her eyes. Maybe he was too drunk, or maybe he was too busy staring at her boobs, but still, it's strange that he wouldn't have noticed her eyes at some point, especially since it's written that she brushed back her hair from her eyes. But let's entertain this idea and its implications. Ashara Dayne was one of Princess Elia Martell's companions at court, and Ashara Dayne's brother, Sir Arthur Dayne of the Kingsguard, was Rhaegar's closest friend. Ashara's nephew, Edric Dayne, told Arya that Ashara and Ned Stark had fallen in love at the great tourney at Harrenhal, but unfortunately, Ned fought against Sir Arthur Dayne at the Tower of Joy, and afterwards, he returned Sir Arthur Dayne's sword back to Ashara Dayne at Starfall. Ashara supposedly had a stillborn daughter, after which Ashara threw herself from a tower into the sea in her grief over either the child or Ned Stark, depending on who you ask. But did she really do that? Did Ashara Dayne actually die, or did she just leave Westeros? Here's my hypothesis. At some point before the war, the lovers Ned Stark and Ashara Dayne made love. Ashara gave birth to a child during Robert's rebellion. Her daughter was not stillborn though, as the stories say. Instead, Varys swapped Ashara's child with Elia Martell's child. So the Mountain didn't kill the real Aegon. The Mountain killed Ned Stark and Ashara Dayne's child. And that crushed Ashara. She didn't jump from a tower to her death. She simply fled across the sea where she was connected with Jon Connington, took on the name Septa Lemore, and began tutoring Aegon. If this is true, then Ashara Dayne has been taking care of her friend's child, Elia Martell's child. And if young Griff actually is Aegon, then Ashara has taken up her brother Sir Arthur Dayne's mantle by dedicating her life to protecting the prince, Prince Aegon Targaryen, trueborn son of Rhaegar Targaryen, nephew of Daenerys Stormborn, just like Jon Snow. And here's the kicker. If Tyrion's dream was prophetic, then Barristan Selmy will survive the upcoming battle at Meereen. Selmy may finally reunite with his queen of love and beauty, Ashara Dayne. Unfortunately, elements to Tyrion's dream suggest that it was not prophetic.